Yo, what's the biz, y'all? She local neighborhood super rig. Here with my boy Brisk. What's up, man?
What's good, bro? Father's Day. You know what I'm saying?
Happy Father's Day, my brother.
Same to you, bro.
Um, and shout out to my fam real quick. Let me go on and put what I got out there. My wife got me this dope shirt right here.
Oh, that's fly. Yeah, that's dope.
81, been a dope husband since last year, and a dope dad since my daughter was born 2006. So she put great thought into this gift, and now I'm asked out because I don't know how to put thought in gifts like that. So I'm gonna have to come up real
That's
crazy.
a fire gift.
And then my daughter got me, and I think this in conjunction with my wife. She got me a Funko Pop with my name and the family cat Oliver. So it's a actual.
That's a
figure.
fire gift, bro.
And me with my phone, my hat, my sweats, and my goatee. The only bad thing I didn't like about this bitch was apparently this motherfucker is bald, and that's not happening to me, nigga. Like, we got good hair genes in my family, nigga. Like,
hey, that's some cold gifts, but I feel you on the her, dog. That's the same way I feel. That's why I start feeling old. One day I was sitting at a bar. I was in Papa Do's eat, and this girl was talking to me, and she was like, how old are you? And I told her, she was like, wow, you still got all your hair. Yeah. I was like, dang, I'm that old.
Yeah, it's amazing the what is associated with our age. But we doing good though, bro. Like, we really doing good in the game. Like, we really need to shout out our parents and shit. Shout out to all the parents. Now, you the opposite of me. Your parents was, I feel, young. I had some old ass parents. My pops was like 40. My mom's was 31 when she had me. He was 37.
So, yeah, my mom was 17 and my dad was 19.
Yeah, so like, you just got young genes. I feel like people who are born to young parents just take their youth and get to run with it. Them the motherfuckers that be living. You understand? And listen here, people. This is a Father's Day episode too, and actually this is specifically for single dads. I want to give a shout out to all the single dads out there, because me and Brisk have had our experiences as single dads. He is currently a single dad. I have been in and out of single daddom throughout my years. A long spread of time, it was just me and the kids. Like, from, I want to say, and when I say that, I'ma always put the asterisk, because I always had a dope village. My mama, my sister, they godparents, everybody was there to help me when I needed the help. But it was just me and the kids for a long time. And same with you. And for some people, they would look at it, I was a full-time, like, I had my kids, I had custody, like, paperwork, like, it was me, custodial parent, single parent type person, making all the decisions, single parent. So it's a lot of us out there. It's a lot of dudes with no paperwork do the same thing. Custodial, they do all the custodial stuff, no paperwork, still paying child support. I was there, actually. I was paying child support. It was full custody. I was doing everything.
I had been through that for like a half a year. I was doing that.
Yeah.
Where I was full custody. Well, I had full custody and everything, but still was paying child support on that child.
It is wild. It's a wild state of affairs. And the child support system is very crazy. Back in 2013, when I was trying to get the full custody and everything. Hold on, I'm trying to get this symmetry and the lighting good on the box. When I was trying to get through everything, I don't know if you experienced this or if it's still like this on the paperwork right now, but I got a file cabinet with case papers this thick. Back then, when I was awarded child support, it did not have a space. All of the paperwork for child support said the father pays the mother. It said that in print, and then you would fill out the name. All of that shit got redacted, the mother and father part, and had to swap it on like 46 pages of fucking documentation, and then put our names in there on two separate cases.
Wow. And that's wild, because when I had went through the process of trying to make sure I can get 50-50 custody of my daughter, because the state of Texas was just like, nah, you only get the weekend. I'm like, how the hell y'all gonna tell me how often I can see my daughter?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then when I started going through and I had to spend all this money to fight for 50-50, then I already told my lawyer, I was like, yo, if they don't give me 50-50, I'm suing the state of Texas for discrimination.
Yep.
Because how is this the only court that's allowed to just do this and just no matter what the situation is, they just be like, oh, this is how it's gonna be. The dad just pay the mom, and the dad only get the weekends, and that's it.
And it'd be a lot of situations where the and shout out to you for having that cognizant, because I will say this, I know you probably done seen this in comments where women will be like, dudes will be like, well, the court's unfair, and the women be like, well, you ain't fighting hard enough. You gotta fight hard enough. Like, that's some trill shit. Like,
and I spent tens of thousands of dollars just to be able to see kids, and that's wild. That's super wild that has to happen.
That is insane. Now, me and Brisk have always had, it seems like our lives have been in parallel, but just completely different. It was the same events, but different details in the events or whatever. Because on the flip side, for me, got both my kids completely for free outside of me filing the paperwork, because people helped me along the way and taught me what a lawyer would do. Because shout out to my pops too, and not let me be an entitled brat. Because I call my pops. My pops is like, he always saved me on some shit. And how I got my kids is a very wild story. Let me see if I can do a short a short version of it. I had a accidental child that I didn't even know existed until 4 months, because me and they mama was just being very shady individuals. Found out about her and who she was with at the time when I found out about my child, thought it was theirs. So their name was on all of the birth certificate and everything. And they had made a pact that I was never going to find out about my kid. So when he found out that she had told me, which I found out from MySpace, one day we started a membership where I will go into details for this. I'm leaving a lot of shit out. But long story short, I was like, yo, this motherfucker, and he had money. So I was like, shit, I'm gonna just call daddy. He gonna give me money for a lawyer and make all this shit go away. Call daddy. I was like, yeah, the lawyer need like $2,500 retainer, blah, blah, blah. Dude, like, what, to change the name and shit? You'll be okay. I don't think you'll figure it out. I know for a fact daddy had that money in his motherfucking sock, nigga. Or he had that shit in a cookie jar somewhere. I know he had it, but he's like, nah, I ain't paying no lawyer for that. Luckily, he raised me to be like, all right, well, this motherfucker said, no, I ain't angry at it, because who called in 20? First of all, how the fuck you irresponsible? You just now finding out you had a motherfucker baby 4 months after it was born anyway. What the fuck was you doing? Your damn spreading your seed all stupid, nigga. So hell no, I'm not gonna help you. He didn't say that, but that's how I interpreted it. Found another way. I ended up, before it was ChatGPT or anything, I just hopped on forums and was just continuously Googling how to get fathers, getting, custody, blah, 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 or name change or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we ended up going to court, and the judge, nigga, this is the quickest court case ever. We went to court, and this dude showed up. He was in a suit and tie. Me and her was very hood broke, nigga, at that time, nigga. Like, yeah. We in civilian clothes. He was like, yeah, Your Honor, that's my child, and she lied, and da-da-da. And the court was like, that's your child. Does anybody have paternity? And I was like, I got paternity. Fucking hand a piece of paper. The judge, I swear, nigga, this is as fast as it went. Judge went, this right here says he's the father. Is this true? Well, I mean, on paper, yeah, but I'm her dad. He's just a sperm donor. Yeah, case dismissed. You can go in and do whatever you need to do, change the name, blah, blah, blah. Get this motherfucker out here. Click, really that fast. As far as the name change shit. But then some shit happened as far as with the child custody shit. A lot of research I did on that shit so when that shit happened, I was just met my son's mom. And when around the time I found out about my daughter, and then she got pregnant or whatever, and some stuff happened, and then me and her ended up breaking up. So I got both the kids and shit. I'm on child support on both the kids. And just like I said, this is a membership story, but I ended up having to meet my first, my daughter's mom for a child support meeting, a 3-year, mandatory meeting shit, as far as to talk about if it was gonna go up or down, she didn't show up to the shit. And the child support woman, that woman's name was Michelle Rodriguez. I'll never forget. She was like, well, where the child stay? I was like, with me. She's like, how long she been staying there? I was like, a year, 2 years or whatever. She's like, you still paying? And I was in arrears. She was like, well, check this out. We gonna freeze this whole arrears thing. So don't worry about that shit. And they had took some money out of my check that hadn't got dispatched yet. It was like, we're gonna freeze this. I'm gonna set you up a court date. Set me up a court date, bro. They took me off, put her on. This is all without no lawyer. This is just because a child support woman set all this shit up.
Dang.
Took me off. Send me my money back for the arrears shit. To erase my arrears and send me the money they had in the little child support escrow shit.
Wow.
Yes, nigga. And then with my son's mom, when we was going through our stuff at the time, I went to a bunch of lawyers for free and just asked them a whole bunch of questions on the free consultation.
Yeah.
Everything they told me, nigga, I just wrote it there. I was like, so this paperwork, I gotta fill out what? Then I went and Googled it. Then I didn't know how to file it. So when me and her was going back and forth to court, the state attorney that's supposed to work for the state heard my story. The judge, he was a piece of shit. Very irresponsible dude. He always sided with the mom, and they kept, saying that it could still be 50-50 when I was trying to get full custody. After the court was over one day, this month she came up to me. She's like, look, if I'm not your lawyer, but if I was your lawyer, I would tell you to go to hall to room A, 1A, go to look for this paperwork that says XYZ, fill it out, go get it certified, da-da-da-da. She told me the whole steps. She basically told me how to file an appeal. So once I learned how to file an appeal by myself, which is with the certified shit, probably about $30 with all of the paperwork and certification, $35, $50 or whatever each. I just kept appealing to where she couldn't win. And then she set up the person, she was moving so much around that time. It was crazy. So she wasn't getting the mail. But since it was certified, I was like, well, it made it to their house. If you just didn't come, you win by default. So I started just winning by default and shit. And then she had set up the a person to go check the house where they were staying at the time and missed the meeting.
Dang.
Another win by default. And then after I beat her, my other baby mom was like, look, I don't even want to go through this shit with you. You just win. And we was all cool during I know this sound like we would be like at odds and shit. Yeah, it was a little tension, but they knew I wasn't doing this shit out of no like nigga fuck y'all type shit. It was all about the kids type shit. And shout out to my first baby mama too. When we went to child support, so fucked up. The first time we went to child support office, when I put myself on child support with her, this before all the custody shit, she was like, yeah, we had already talked. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just pay $150. She was like, cool, that cover the daycare. And I was like, I gotta have the other time anyway, or whatever. It's whatever. We go to the child support office. That woman tried to talk her into getting the full 20% a month. I'm talking about, and got mad at her when she didn't say yes. And you would think it's some sexist shit, but it's not. When I got to child support and it was time to renew, them motherfuckers did the same talk to me. And I was like, I don't need no child support. The only reason I'm doing this shit is just for the insurance shit. You know what I'm saying? So we could have that shit cool. The government could play for that shit. And that motherfucking dude got mad at me.
Did they get a percentage of it or something? I think they get like a small percentage.
It's some transaction fees and shit that they get that is not spoken about. But yes, the child support office definitely gets paid. The government definitely gets paid from this. And they get paid mainly from shit going in arrears and send you to jail and shit. They get a lot of charge. They make most of their money. They want people to be late. They want people to not be on time. They want people to be all late because they get to charge you for breaking the law.
Dang, man. And what's messed up about the child support stuff too, there was a point in time where child support just started taking double for me.
What?
Just start taking double. And this went on for like 8 months. And then when I had to hit my lawyer about it. So when it finally got straightened out, you know what they told me? They just sent me a letter. It was like, oh, you are correct. We was taking double and we'll just get it back to you at the very end. The last 8 payments that you're going to have to make later on ain't just going to come out.
What?
just did that. And then when it came and then for my stuff at the very beginning, because I got two baby moms, and we both, all of us is cool now. It was some
Yeah.
tumultuous times. It was definitely some
Yeah.
times in between. But
Yeah.
I remember like even when it first started, I was married to my son mom, and so I was in the military. She wasn't. And so when it came time for that divorce, instead the lawyers and the judges was like, "Well, you in the military, you can be deployed at any time. So custody for you, absolutely not." And so
Wow.
I just got played, and because I was in the military, she wasn't. They said I was unstable.
Wow.
So that went on for like years and years, but it was even to the point where I was supposed to get them certain times, and like I said, we was having difficulties, and eventually all this money was being spent, and it's crazy, like how, for instance, if a dad or somebody don't pay, the legal gonna get involved from jump. You don't
Yep.
get your passport taken, you don't get your driver's license taken. But if somebody ain't following the visitation orders and stuff like that, the only way you can make that come into play and make somebody accountable for that is if you pay another lawyer again and have to go through the whole court process. So then you go through this whole court process. You just spent about $15,000, and then they like, oh yeah, you do have to follow this. That's in this document. It says it right here. Why are
Wow.
you not following it?
Wow.
Follow it or else.
Wow.
You're like, bruh, I just
That's
spent all that bread for that.
that's insane. And did you go through when the custody shit? Did you did they have you like go down and file like at the police department? Did you go down and file like the reports of the I forgot what it's called, but
Oh, to say like I didn't get a chance to
yeah, like this person, we have a court agreement. This
Yep.
person violated it at this time and date. It was just a little piece of paper and
Yep.
shit. So I same thing with you. We was going through that shit when I had them weekend be up, and I'll be like, all right, so I'm gonna come home, and and this was just with my daughter's mom, not my son's mom, who oddly enough we're married now, but we were
Yeah,
very young when
that's
this
a
shit
dope
happened.
story.
We were very young when this happened, but yeah, going back and forth, like you said, it was a lot just without the whole. And I want this to be an educational talk as well, because there's a lot of brothers that think shit is hella expensive, which it can be if
Can be.
you don't have the knowledge of what to do. And like I said, I think now is way more common, but back then it was very hard. And all you need to know is what paperwork to file, where to file that paperwork, and you can do this shit without a lawyer at all. And another thing that people don't understand, and I learned this because I spent hours and days, nigga, hearing court cases, custody cases, nigga, just listen what the lawyer's doing, waiting on because we was always at the end of the day for some reason. So I would get there at the beginning of court and wouldn't leave to the evening. So I listened to hours, and I realized that when shit would break and they would go on the lunch, the two lawyers would be cool with each other, and they would be cool with the judge. And I'm like, it don't matter if it was a state lawyer or somebody that you seen they billboard, all the motherfuckers was friends. I'm like, these motherfuckers, these motherfuckers, this is a racket.
I got a whole story about that. Like I literally cursed my lawyer out one day, dog. Like I had to. This was at the very end though, because I realized that same thing. Because I had to go in. I had to pay this dude a $7,500 retainer.
Oh,
and then, of course, I'm assuming that she had to pay a retainer as well.
Yeah.
So at the time, me and her weren't really talking like that to be able to talk through these things. But then he was like, "Oh yeah, me and her lawyer, we hang out, we go golfing all the time. This, and this." And I noticed they just kept on like dragging stuff out. We like, bruh, like I said to put this in there. Like, why do you keep going all this back and forth? Every email costs some money. Every conversation a text message costs money.
What?
And I'm like, hold on, bro. and so my lawyer, he had confused a document that she sent in. So I explained it to him what was going on.
Yeah.
And then his confusion actually caused me 10 more hours of fees. And we was on the phone, and I'm like, yo, man, he started trying to yell at me. So I'm very cool, I'm very calm. But the moment somebody try to yell at me or the moment somebody disrespect me, I will 100% go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. I remember his paralegal was on the phone. She's like, whoa, we need to calm down. Everybody need to calm down. Because I'm talking about, I went from what I am right now to DMX.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to.
Hell yeah.
Motherfucker, you work for me, motherfucker. And so eventually all that stuff got straightened out. But I definitely, I can't stand when lawyers play that game with that kind of stuff because they're just trying to get bread. I get it; it's a business.
Yes.
But don't be trying to play. I was hurting. I needed that bread.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I ain't got time for that.
And the fucked up thing about when lawyers is involved is all that money could have been going to the kids. Could have been going to a college fund. Could have been going to Pee Wee League. Could have been going to all of this shit, and it's going to their kids while their kids is going to private schools, prep schools, Pee Wee League. You paying all of this shit, and it's insane for someone to charge you like it's $19.99 Sprint plan, $30 a damn text. You know what I'm saying? That shit, wow. So I want this to be educational. Anybody that's in a situation where you can't see your kids, the number one rule my pops taught me was don't get mad. Don't get mad at the moms at all. Understand it. Initially, you are going to be at a disadvantage. You ain't gonna have no power, and the sooner you accept it, don't get angry about it, the better. And then the second thing is be cool with them as possibly as you can. If they hate your guts, that don't mean you gotta hate their guts. And if you do hate their guts, it don't mean you gotta show that you hate their guts. Treat it like a fucking job. Millions of people go to work every day to a place that they hate, and they wish they could knock their boss head off, yet they don't never say that shit. Yes, sir. Oh, yes, yes. Do the same shit with your baby mama. She be like, yo, you ain't seeing fucking Brenda. You got my baby around that bitch. You ain't gonna see her. Da-da. I understand. I would really like to see my child, but if you don't feel comfortable, it's totally understandable. Hopefully that next week we could do that. Document that shit. If you got a court case, go down to the police. Be like, yo, our visitation was here. She said no for this damn reason. Document all of that shit. You can go online. Now, I know it was a website that really helped me. It was called Fathers for Kids, and it had step by step what you do. And it will tell you the paperwork you need to go file by yourself. You don't need a lawyer to do any of this shit. And now with ChatGPT, it will tell you step by step how to get. But go down there. You don't need a lawyer, people. I don't know how many times I was telling people this in 2013. I had a homeboy that hit me up, and the thing is, it was tedious though. People was asking me, how you doing this? Well, I spent like 5 hours researching some shit. Oh, nigga, I gotta work. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
you gonna do it your way, or you gonna
like, nigga, because I don't have any racks to give a lawyer, but I do got 5 hours to do after I leave my fucking shift at Pizza Hut, nigga, to do this shit for the freebie. But like I said, I had my mom in my corner. I had people watching my kids and shit. And I understand if you do gotta work, but either you go pay somebody else to get a piece of paper and give it to the government for them. Either you go pay them 20 racks to do that shit, or you can spend a few hours to learn how to get a piece of paper and turn that shit in. Because at the end of the day, that's all that shit is.
And what I don't want to speed past, because this fella Supa has told me all of these same things about making sure you cool. Me and him had very intense conversations about this, and his advice helped me tremendously. I'm gonna just keep it for real. It helped me tremendously.
That's and I'm glad to hear that, and that's all shout to my pops, because me and you we are very, like I said, our lives are very parallel. My pops, I'm like baby mama number 3 for my pops, but I grew up with my pops' ex-wife watching me growing up. Wasn't no damn polygamous or threesome shit or nothing like that. It's just my pops was always upfront and honest with everybody. When some shit was over, the shit was over. He didn't keep smashing. That's another thing, and this is a law I learned myself. I ain't keep smashing after shit was over. It was a wrap. Like, I ain't touched either one of them when the shit was over. Wasn't nobody getting led on or nothing. But my pops, I watched him have a girlfriend that my mama and my brother and sister mama them didn't like, but all got along with, and all the women took care of me, took care of kids. Anybody go over anybody's house, we always taken care of, get ice cream, whatever. And I seen it, so I had I know we could be harmonious all together, in long as the kids is the focus.
Yep.
But I gotta give you grace, or give anybody grace, because my first baby mama, We kicked it for 3 months and boom, baby was in existence. I didn't know. One, like it was no long-term feelings. Now, me and my son's mom, we was together for a minute and it was kind of choppy, but not as, it wasn't as crazy as far as the emotions went when it came with the kid, because she cared about the kid. She cared about our kids too. And I give both of them that they both genuinely did care about the kids. Period. Like we all had that in common. It wasn't too much of nobody hating each other. It was just, you know, might have been her feelings. So with your situation and others that was married and then it was a divorce and it was highly emotional, it ain't necessarily gonna be as cakewalky as mine was in comparison. So it's a hard thing to just, it's easy for me to just be like, hey, she say some XYZ, just be like, oh, well, that's fine. Cause it's way different when you got that lineage. So when you told me about it, I was like, look, I know this shit sound crazy, bro. I was like, but let her say all the insane shit she wanted to say. But I bet you, nigga, if you calm down and listen to this, guys, if you always be calm, if your woman actually has estrogen running through her body, eventually she gonna start feeling bad when you ain't going off on her no more, and she the bad guy. Because women don't want to be the bad guy. They really don't. The only time they cool with being the bad guy is if they think you did them fucked up and they getting revenge on you. But once they out of their revenge stage, now the only time they gonna get mad at you is when you coming to them crazy. And in their mind, if they initiated the crazy, you coming back is you initiating it. Because they feel like but as soon as you, and it might take a year. I told that nigga, I was like, nigga, it might take some months.
And what's wild about it, because when people think about a divorce in a man and woman, they automatically assume that the dude did some messed up stuff. Yes. Automatically. That was not the case over here. Yes. And I ain't do nothing. And so that's why that shit just pissed me off so bad. Why do I have to deal with this? And this is the situation.
Yeah. But you know, it's like you got to, in any situation, and you was in the military and shit. Yep. It's no different than this shit right here. Yeah. This shit right here is always understand your enemy at that time. And unfortunately, in a divorce, people looking at each other as the enemy when that ain't the case, especially if you got kids. Now, I ain't gonna front, nigga. You ain't got no kids, nigga. This motherfucking hellfire is coming down on everybody. But if you got kids, nobody should be enemies in that situation. Both of y'all should be fucking focused on how can we make this transition or the life of this life we created together be what's up. And as soon as, because it never fails, bro. People get older, people, you know, women who kept their kids from dudes, or dudes who felt like the baby mama put them on child support and was like, well, fuck it, I send the money, but I ain't gonna be in my kid's life. It never fails that I say probably good 85 to 90% of them people grow 10, 15 years later, grow up and regret that they let their rage hold them back from a relationship. Or they realize how detrimental that was to the kid while they was mad at each other.
And I just want to make this statement 100%, fellas. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care what's happening, bro. Never ever be outside of your kid's life. Never. Don't let nothing stop that.
Never.
And the dope thing about it, like most, because I know it's this crazy narrative out there about black dads and all that, but I know a lot of black dudes. And every single black dude I talk to on a regular basis, which I talk to a lot, I know a lot of people. Every dad that's black is in their kids' life, hella active, excited about it. Yes. So this whole narrative that they be having out here is some BS, in my opinion.
Fuck your opinion. That's facts. That's never facts. Me and you cool. Nigga, if I knew, I'm gonna be honest with you, because I'm at that age now to where if you doing shit in your life that's just not cool to me, like, or I don't respect, you're not gonna be in my motherfucking life. Well, we ain't gonna be cool and shit. I don't got no deadbeat dads in my friend group. All of us, even I was the last in my friend group. I don't know about you, but I was the last in my friend group to have a kid. Okay, my friend group was having kids. We was in 9th, 10th grade.
So people, I remember, because I had my son when I was 26. And I remember in my super early 20s, everybody was like, what's wrong with you? you ain't got no, why you ain't got no kids yet? Like, did your stuff work? Like, no, I ain't. And I actually waited because my whole life I want to be like, I want to be married and have my child in
Oh,
marriage. So I wanted that, and so I set that up for that.
wow.
Eventually, unfortunately, it didn't work out to be that way. I had it planned out, but that was my initial plan. And so I was like, people would ask me this question, I'd be like, because I don't have a wife. What do you mean?
Wow.
And just assume that because I'm a black man, I'm supposed to have hella kids outside of wedlock.
That is true. And shout out to, see, this is why this my homeboy. One of the top best people I know on some serious shit. Cause I only got like 2-3 homeboys that was of that mind state that they ain't want no kids till they got married and shit. And it's dope. Even though it didn't work out, that's still the best, way to do the shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's at least you starting off on the best foot of concrete, at least attempted, situation. With when you stated the same thing, I had my kids when I was 26 too. Now I never wanted kids ever in life. Like when I was young, nigga, I didn't never have that little mini me running around. When I was young, by this time, nigga, I was going to be on a plane doing something by myself. Like, that's how I think. But when I go back, my kids literally saved my life on some real shit. Cause I'm an adventurous type of person and a big risk taker. And yeah. Super probably wouldn't be here. Okay. It's only 2 avenues. Either I was gonna be super rich or possibly on the run, because I ain't go front either. I wasn't gonna go to jail. I'll tell you that right there. Like, either I'm gonna be dead on the run,
get
or
rich
be
or die
rich.
trying.
One of the three.
Get rich or die trying is real.
But I wasn't gonna be in jail. So, but like you said, all my homeboys, even though I gave you that status, people, that my friends was having kids when we was in 10th grade. 10th grade, then we was 18. 2 of my closest homeboy had they kids, they first kids and first baby mamas. And then when we turned 23, 24, and by the time I got 26, these niggas was like 2-3 kids deep. However, even though that sounds like the stereotypical, they just out here, well, they was taking care of all these kids. They was seeing all these kids. They might get into it with the baby moms, but they was making it work for their kids. To this day, I could send you to all of their Facebooks. They done been on all their kids' school shit. They done always been there for their kids. I ain't have no deadbeat friends. And I have a lot of friends who couldn't even see their kids when they was trying, because they baby mama picked up and moved them way far away, and they been fighting out. I have friends that was in fights and stuff, but majority of my friends was able to do it. Now, I did have a couple of offshoots, people that had got some randos prego, and just kind of impossible to kind of make stuff work with somebody you met at the gas station when you was fucked up on possible dro. This was the early 2000s where Bobby Brown was still rampant and everybody was claiming they had that dro, and niggas was trying to stretch it with some bullshit. Or you might have just been incredible hulked up. But so we got all of it out the way, you know what I'm saying, as far as the rough side, the scary side of single fatherhood. How does it now, like I said earlier, one of the few people I have met in my life, I only know a handful of people that was like, yo, I want to be a father, I want to have children. And how has having children impacted your life, and has it had the impact that you felt it would? Did being a father give you that feeling that that you thought it would?
It's way better. Like being a father, like I learned a lot about myself being a father, because like my son and my daughter are completely different, and they took like my son took one essence of my personality and me, and he got that, and my daughter is the opposite. And I learned so much from them, because I'll see stuff going on with them and I'll be like, damn, I do that.
Yeah.
Like, man, I need to get that straightened out. So now I'm working on that with her. And then like for instance, like it'd be dope though. Like, so my daughter, she 10, she about to be 11. And so one day I'm in the crib sleeping, And I wake up and I smell bacon. And I'm like, I know only my son and my daughter here. And I know my son didn't go in the kitchen and make no bacon. So I come downstairs, walk in the kitchen. My daughter in there making bacon and eggs. And she was only like 9 at the time.
Yeah.
And she just be here doing her thing. And it's just like, wow. Like, those kids used to be inside of me. Literally. Then I did what I had to do. And they mom incubated it. And now they out here making breakfast.
Yes.
Like it's so wild. Like they
wait. Did you teach her that, or she just
no?
Did that? She just learned that from watching you.
Well, no, I'm assuming that her like she hang out with her grandma all the time. Like I got a village too. People always help out, and so her grandma show her how to cook stuff. Her mom show her how to cook stuff. So everybody be teaching her stuff, and she's just really smart, and she could just pick up on everything, and she just got the confidence just go out there to do it her own.
Yeah. That is amazing. Feeling. On the flip side of somebody who never thought about that stuff, it is amazing, and it's the same dichotomy pretty much with my kids. My daughter is me though, to the max, except she is also a girl, so she do get sad and emotional and stuff like that, which I rarely see that side of her because she's so gangster, but every once in a while it show out. My son, actually, be honest, my son adopted more of his mom's attributes. He got my nerd attributes.
Yeah, that's exactly what my son.
He didn't get none of my Southwest Little Rock shit that I had to come in there like his sister got. Like his sister got, more of that. He ain't no bitch or nothing. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But he is he like at his age, me and him at his age got the same interests, except not as like by this time I was deeply into this nerd shit over here. At the same time, some of those girls I was out there.
Yeah.
That is not the tip of his thing. Clothes, fashion, trying to impress nobody, trying to pull nothing is not. By 16, like anybody familiar with the story, Courtney Nichols let me know that it was time for me to get my damn shoe game and clothes game up so I could hit the next phase of life. My son is not that. But back to what you said earlier, it's crazy that these entities that's floating around that I came up with, or they have their own feelings, their own thought processes. They got their own view of the world. It's crazy to listen to it. I raised them to hate holidays. They are aware of the sources, but they personalities. My son, I ain't gonna lie though. Has your son started? Because now my son take a lot of what the fuck I say and run with it now. Like he just like, you know what? She was right. When we was going over there,
starting to pay attention and get that.
Yeah. On my daughter, on the other hand, is like, yeah, you're full of shit. Okay.
But you can't get. And I raised my daughter. I didn't want my daughter to be gullible because you don't want a gullible woman in the world. And I think I did too good of a job on that. But she crushed everything. And what's wild is because we've been doing all these podcasts about the Drake stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so we was in the car the other day. And she was like, Dad, I don't like Drake really that much either. She was like, he just seems so fake to me. And I was like, what? And she called it out. I was like, wow. Because that's like the reason why Drake, for instance, was like one of my, I guess like my most listened to artists on Spotify. Is because when we in the car, we on long trips, long drives or whatever, I literally go to Spotify and type in Drake clean playlist because he got like some friendly songs.
Wow.
And just be playing the Drake friendly stuff.
Wow.
Like with no cussing, no sexual talking, and none of that really. And yeah. And so I was blown away when she told me that.
Damn. So you telling me she was raised on Drake, basically, and she has do you think it's because of the beef, or did she say it as in a way of, I thought the nigga was lame back then, but now it's like really?
She said it was before any of that. That's what I was like, wow. Because I've never ever talked to her about that, ever.
Wow.
And then she hit me with that. I was blown away.
Once again, I say this a lot, you guys, but this is why this is my friend. My daughter as well, not only don't give a fuck about Drake. I asked about her friend. She's like, I don't think they listen to him either. But yeah, he is lame. She's very... And this had nothing to do with me, I don't think. Maybe though, because I have been shitting on Wayne in her presence since a good 2011 for sure.
You said on Wayne or Drake?
I mean, I'm sorry, Drake.
Drake, all right.
And by proxy, Wayne, because when Wayne brought him on to Young Money, Cash Money, I was hella upset. But Wayne stayed in my good graces by dropping dope ass freestyles repeatedly. But I couldn't listen to his mixtapes and shit because didn't know if Drake was gonna pop up on that shit. Holly was upset. But yeah, my daughter the same way. When it comes to the music shit, my son, what is your son in the music yet? And what is his taste? And is his taste yours or does he have his own? And does he inquire about your taste? And also, do you have a bird in your house?
That's a bird outside the a window, though.
Because I was like, oh my gosh. Am I tweaking?
Yeah, that mug is right outside the window. I hear it. But he do have his own taste, but it's like the eclectic taste that I have. Like for instance, he like Steve Lacy. He like Tyler the Creator. Like people in those ranges, and that bird is hella loud.
Hella loud. You might have to go and kill a
But
mockingbird.
The BB's good on that thing.
Yeah, but so you.
But he do have his own taste. He know like the artist that I like. And he'll be like, "Oh, you know, such and such just dropped some new stuff." Like, for real?
Yeah.
And then that kind of activity. We listened to the Childish Gambino album together.
Oh, that's dope.
The other day, he told me about that. But we both came to the conclusion we ain't like that. But he got some decent taste in music, and he don't like the killer murder stuff. None of that. He's never been in that vibes at all.
Yeah. Do you feel has he ever told you that you or stuff you played around him influenced him on his music, or y'all haven't had that kind of conversation?
We didn't really had that conversation, but I do know, like for a very long time, I was my son's favorite artist.
You can't beat that.
Which when I was heavy putting out music, he loved my records.
You can't beat that. That's something Adonis will never feel. So my son.
What about you? He do the same thing? Your son? How does that work?
He has his own. I feel like he asked me questions all the time. He's like, "What did you play around us when you was little?" I was like, I put headphones on y'all with DVD players in the back seat, so y'all could listen to damn Veggie Tales and shit while I listen to OJ the Juice Man. I'm not sure if he took off the headphones during that time or not. But in all honesty, I didn't play my music around the kids. But all jokes aside, like even with them with the headphones on, I would have my own headphones on and listen to my own stuff. If I did play something over the speakers in the car or something, it would be Outkast or something like that, where they cuss words was on some not like us level shit for me. So certain artists can curse. Cause I know it ain't like detrimental cursing, like you dumb bitch. I ain't never want them to grow up around that shit. Cause I know you guys hear me curse a lot. I don't cuss around my kids. Like I don't. Like I never have. I don't call my son nigga or nothing.
None of that. Yeah.
Like,
none of that. Yep.
Never. He don't use that word or nothing. And it's just cause, and that was a cognizant thing. But guess what? My pops never called me a nigga. And he didn't really cuss around me. My grandpa wasn't like that. So that was just my experience of I'm like this over here. But I done heard my pops on the phone was like, yeah, that nigga XYZ. But he never used that around me or whatever. Now, my mama on the other hand, like, nigga, if you don't get your ass in that damn bed. But nah, I'm just joking. It wasn't. She would say, the only time my mom would say that is if I really pissed her off. Like, I didn't do my schoolwork. And she would always be like, she was like, it wouldn't never call me nigga. It was just like, I don't want you to be a stupid nigga like that. But anybody else, she would, you know what I'm saying? So I don't use that term. Right?
Yeah, I grew up, my people was on some Bernie Mac, Robert Harris. I definitely heard some very colorful language.
Oh yeah,
coming up.
Yeah.
But like it was never, like you said, it was never like directed.
Yes.
At me.
Yeah. Like you little stupid motherfucker. Yeah. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Like now I would get. You broke the motherfucking toaster. But it was never like, you stupid motherfucker, you broke the motherfucker. It wasn't never, I ain't never get the cuss words. Well, until I got much, much older and I was making very horrible decisions that I should have got fully cussed out on. Story for the fucking the membership. But yeah, no, my son's musical taste, he is into now he into some type of gangster shit. Like he like Freddie Gibbs music, but he like
my
me.
son like him too. My son do like him too.
I ain't gonna
That's
lie.
Wild.
Freddie Gibbs,
but is that gangster music though? Because I don't know much about him. I just seen him get beat up by Jim Jones a few times, and I seen a few situations where he didn't look too gangster. He was claiming gangster, but people was trying to show him he wasn't gangster.
His music is more of fucking bitches selling drugs and only get gangster when, you know, it ain't all bang bang shoot 'em. It's more selling dope, pulled your bitch, so it's more dope.
He can rap really well. I do know that about him. He can rap.
He tells stories really good. He a very good artist. So and plus I'm gonna be honest. And me and you done had this conversation. We did our best to make sure that our children did not grow up in the environments that we grew up in. So I still want him to be. I want him to, even though the neighborhood he live in and school he go to, he really ain't gonna never have to really need these skills for his immediate life. Once he goes out, start experiencing the world, I need him to understand, look, there's some shady motherfuckers out here, my nigga.
Yeah. I have to tell my children that all the time,
I'm like, look, you go experience some shit. I learned about these motherfuckers at a very young age, and luckily I got to learn by the people that was the perpetrators, so I wouldn't be a victim myself. And I grew up around, you know, seeing people be victims of the shit firsthand. You don't have that experience. You don't have that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say this: you don't have the luxury of actually growing up and seeing certain shit and understanding the psychology of some people. So I need you to listen to this music. I'm fine with him listening to this. I ain't tell him this part, but the reason I'm fine with him listening to this music is I need him to understand that it's people growing up way completely different from him with way completely different mindsets, and a lot of people be like, oh, this music is detrimental. It's detrimental, but it's really motherfuckers out here that think like that.
Yeah,
and
really
you have motherfuckers moving around like that. It's a lot
of be aware.
Yes, and I need him to understand that. And this is very, very important that I told him. I was like, look, a lot of that shit is make believe as far as themselves talking about doing that shit, but the shit that they talking about definitely occurs. Okay,
definitely does.
So it's nothing to be glorified. It's nothing to look up to. However, just listen to the cues of the type of people that they talking about. Listen to, do you want to hang out with a motherfucker who you bought a slab of dope with, and then they finessed you out of it and then killed the whatchamacallit? You can't trust these type of motherfuckers. If certain people will do that to you without physically hurting you. You get finessed out of deals. You can get finessed out of, you know, people can backstab you on some other shit. But drugs is real. It is people out here killing. I can take him, you know, I want him to be able to be comfortable if something happened, he get dropped off in the middle of the hood. I don't want him to be, or not even just the middle of the hood, any situation. I don't want him to be panicking and be like, oh no, I didn't even know that existed. When Grand Theft Auto came out, his mom didn't want him playing it. I said once he turned, internally, I was like, when he turned 13, I'm letting him play whatever the fuck he wanted to. I didn't want him to be ingrained with it at a young age though, because I didn't want him to be desensitized to shit. Because certain shit I'm desensitized, because I grew up seeing a motherfucker pull a gun out and just start shooting shit. I definitely
seen that.
And it was like, so where we going after this? Because this motherfucker's over here tripping. And I was telling my daughter stories about parties I've been at. The nigga start shooting. Nigga put out a gun, start shooting just because I said I made the best beats. And he was like, nigga, you don't make better beats than us. And he put out a 38, just start shooting in the ceiling and shit. And everybody ran out because he was drunk. We didn't know if it was go, but I didn't leave the party because I was like, that nigga's tripping. And fucking, me and him ended up damn drinking later on this shit. And she was like, what? You didn't run? I was like, no, I mean,
it's very wild situations.
It's very wild situations.
And I think about it now. I'm like, why did I
stay there in that situation?
So my son was not. He was not raised in that. But like his mom, just to say the juxtapose of both of them, like. My son and mom grew up on a farm, and they grew up on a farm, and so she got those kind of views. My daughter mom grew up in South Dallas, and so my daughter mom, she is familiar with that, with all of that. She didn't grow up like quite like I did, but because she spent half her time with her mom, half her time with me, and I'm in Dallas now. Like I ain't got people back in St. Louis, so she don't know like all my family back in St. Louis, all my family back at Peoria, like that. Yeah. But she definitely get her experience because her people, her mom is from South Dallas, and all her people from out here in Dallas.
Yeah. And it's good that they can see both sides, or at least be exposed
to me.
It.
To me, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, you need to, and And we a Drake hate channel or whatever, but see, when you not exposed to that other side, depending on the situation, how your life may blow, you may get around people and you want to hang with them people, but since you didn't experience it or really know how to absorb it, if you wasn't built strong enough to be okay with how you are, you gonna start mimicking motherfuckers that you ain't got no business mimicking and shit. If my son got dropped off in Little Rock right now, and he stayed there, and you remember that episode of Fresh Prince when Carlton ended up in the hood and shit, and when Will, by the time Will them caught up with him, he like was them niggas respected him and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Will, you're messing it up. These guys love me. Da, 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 da. And he was like, yeah, old dog, whatever. I think he would be able to acclimate to the situation. I would want him to be able to survive, but not 6 months later, like, yeah, dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm claiming motherfucking Paru now, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, nigga, why are you claiming Paru, nigga? You was only there for 2 months, nigga. Like, nigga, you was on assignment, nigga. Like, that was a deployment. You get there, you survive, then you come home, you take the damn shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just want him to be able to survive around any situation in the family and shit like that. And me, luckily, my I ain't got family that was in the street like that. Really, on neither side of my family. I grew up where I was at. There was niggas in the street and shit. So I was going to family reunions and shit and get the other shit. But school during the week, you know, it was around 100% gangsterism. Like, never knew, you know what I'm saying? And I learned a plethora of things. Now, my cousin, he did. I had a couple. Did you have homeboys that was, how was gangs in St. Louis? Was it like gang bangery? Because in Little Rock, the reason Little Rock was banging and shit is because OGs from Cali, everybody got to go through Riceville Correctional Facility in Arkansas. Like, everybody got to go through there. And the OGs was there for a minute. And they like downloaded the Blood and Crip shit into Little Rock directly back in the late 80s and shit. And so that's why banging Little Rock was so crazy, because it was like,
I seen that on HBO or something. Yeah.
It was like a pipeline from the actual OGs. Like, it's actual book. Look, for people that's not aware of game, it's actually like books and manuals that show you the signs and all of this shit. You got to know the damn knowledge too.
They had literature. They definitely had literature.
They got literature, everything. It wasn't no joke. So Little Rock got indoctrinated in that shit. To the point to where when I was growing up, nigga, you couldn't wear solid colors to the mall. They would kick you out. Security would escort you out. You couldn't wear all red, couldn't wear all blue, all black. You couldn't wear no solid color. You couldn't wear all neon yellow, nigga. Them motherfuckers gonna kick your ass out. So, I don't know what it was like up there as far as the gang shit, but when I was growing up, I knew I had niggas that stayed in neighborhoods where they wasn't gangster, but they still, since you was in the hood, you technically for lack of a better term, was kind of blessed in if some shit was to occur and you was not in the hood, but you was with niggas in the hood, and if something popped off, you kind of had to ride for the hood at that moment.
And because they had gangs in the Midwest for sure, because I was in between Peoria and St. Louis, like, and stuff like that. And so the thing about it is, I was considered neutral.
Yeah.
Which means that I wasn't on neither side of it, but nobody would really mess with me about it. But I do remember there was one particular situation where they had came, like the cats from the high school had came to the middle school, and they was trying to like recruit us young cats to be. I think these was vice lords. And so anyhow, so they came. They was vice lords for sure. And remember, old boy, the dude I told you about, Todd, the dude that was being a bully, and how I was gonna be a bully.
Yeah.
Too. But he was one of the young ones like me. And so I remember they had came to the school during the week, and they was like, "Yo, we gonna come get y'all on Saturday. Y'all get y'all bikes, and we gonna get out here." And they said we're gonna get out here and do something. And I think we had to go like rob somebody. We had to go do something for some initiation.
Yeah.
And so they came to my door, and my mom is literally 4'8",
hella tiny,
and a half, probably like 119 pounds back then. So all these dudes came to the door, and I just remember my mom was like, "What the hell y'all want on my son?" And they was like, "Well, we just trying to see if he could come out." She's like, "Hell no, he ain't going nowhere with none of y'all." And so she started cussing them all out. Yeah. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, when I get back to school, man, I'm gonna get heat. And she started like name dropping, because apparently like she knew some of their parents, or she knew some people, because she grew up in the projects.
Yeah.
And so she knew they like their parents and stuff like that. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought like, man, I get back to school, man. I'm gonna get all this heat. Yeah. I get back to school, them same cat, they was like, man, we ain't messing with T no more, man. We ain't fucking with Terrence. And so like that like altered that situation right there, like altered my life.
Yeah.
Because if I went out there with them on that Saturday, they were doing some wild stuff. And all the people that I was with, it was this cat named DeMarco, it was Todd. There was the two that I remember the most.
Yeah.
And it was me, and it was probably like two other people. But all them cats, man, was in trouble with the law back and forth, not alive no more. Like it's just wild stuff that just happened. And that day, like, changed my projection of my life.
Yo, and on some real shit, I want y'all to do inventory in y'all own life. I have yet to meet a DeMarco, a black DeMarco that went into some other shit.
So,
not one. Yeah. That's like, you know, this is a name that is kind of, you done set your child up on a track of something. But yeah, man. But swinging back to the father shit, man. I think this was a good conversation, man. Shout out to all the fathers out there, man. And y'all gonna hear me say a lot of shit about I don't like being dead, fuck my kids, or not fuck my kids, but you know, I can't wait till they turn 18, and I'm not gonna be considered a father once they turn 18 no more. I'm gonna just be considered, you know, a friend of the family. And all those things are true, okay? But I do recognize that my children changed my life. I've always taken care of my children. I always will. They always have a place to go. And Terrence is the same way. And it's a plethora of you guys watching out there that's always 100% down for your kids. And it's a plethora of women out here that know men that are down for their kids. We go specify black because we black. But it's, you know, it's of all the colors of the rainbow. There's some great dads out there. And luckily, for some weird way, we ended up getting a day to celebrate us. So this is that day for all of us.
Oh, and I do want to say this though too, because like the dynamics, I heard you talk about your dad and your pop, he was around. So my dad, he was around. I knew my dad when I was younger, and I had a bunch of misunderstandings. It was a long period of time where I was very upset. Like I was pissed at my dad for a very long time for some stuff that happened when I was a kid. And when you were a kid, you don't quite understand stuff. Yeah. And so then as I became an adult, like, I'm like, man, what happened here? So then we talked about it. We talked about it like when I was 18. Like, bro, what happened right here? Yeah. He told me some stuff, and I was like, okay, I kind of accepted that. But then, like, once I had a child on my own, I came at him again, like, bro, what was up with this? Yeah. And then so I was mad for a while. So my dad actually passed about 3 years ago, like when COVID first popped off. Yeah. And like probably 3 to 4 years prior to that, like me and him had got super tight. And I had became like a better understanding of a man, like where you at in life and how things work. And so I was able to understand like way more things about it. So I know it is some people who out there living around right now, it's like upset with their pops about some stuff like that. But I would say, man, like y'all really give them a chance and just like really talk to them and get them emotions out, them animosity out, because hey, if they gone, you're gonna be regretting that.
That's 100% facts. And I hate that this segment, and look, I might move this up somewhere in the video. So the video just dropped because this is important stuff. Very important stuff, especially for anybody that doesn't like Father's Day because of their father. With your situation, your father, I know you mentioned it was contention and stuff between y'all. Do you feel that like, was the situation y'all had something that he needed to apologize to you about, or that he did?
It was a misunderstanding, and my dad was being a solid dude and not telling his son things because he wanted to protect his son, and he wanted to protect his view of how life worked with other family members and stuff like that. So, you know, it'd be like, man, it'd be situations where as an adult now, you'd be like, man, this is what really happened, but I ain't gonna tell my son that right now because he ain't old enough to really understand that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it was a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. Do you feel the child's relationship from that? How do you feel that affected your parenting style?
Well, it definitely. That's why I wanted to make sure that, like, yo, whenever I have my child, I want to make sure I'm married. I want to make sure that I'm there 100% every single day. Gotcha. I want to be like the best ever. And my dad was dope. Like, he was dope. And we just had our little times where my misunderstandings of how I view things as a kid. But as I got older, I like 100% understood, like, damn, dad, like, my bad, bro. Like, in decades, I was upset about this stuff, and I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Make sure, like Britt said, unless your pops was like, just wrecking shop and doing some deplorable things and has not acknowledged that, causing physical harm or something like that, which is super understandable. But even just feeling like they abandoned you or whatever like that, if a person tries to come back to make amends and they are like your blood, if it is space in your heart to try to mend that, please try to mend it, because people, we as humans, we feel like we ice cold, but even Nino Brown shed a tear when he had to kill G Money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't rock solid, we actually porous. You know what I'm saying? Like the coral reef. I don't know how I got in aquatics, but I hope you guys feel what the fuck I'm saying. But yeah, man. So shout out to all the fathers out there, man. I hope you guys have a good day. And shout out to, Brisk, always phenomenal pops. Only nigga I know that, well, no, not the only nigga I know, but I take it back. Only nigga I know that DoorDash fucking 8-year-olds, some damn Roof Chris and shit on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I remember I was over your house when we first met. He was like, "Yeah, so what did you want?" She's like, "Yeah, I forgot what it was." And I was like, they only serve that at Roof Chris? What the? And this nigga, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is what she eats all the time." And I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to look like I was lame or nothing like that. But I was like, this is a crazy. This nigga really loves his daughter and stuff. My daughter gotta wrestle me out for some damn Wingstop DoorDash. But yeah, shout out, man. Peace out. Appreciate y'all for hanging with us. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program this week, and don't forget, Thursday is going to be our first live pop out. And
is it Thursday or is it Wednesday? Hold on.
It's
the Wednesday.
It's
Wednesday.
And we got to record a bumper for that. But yeah, peace out, y'all. See y'all next time.
Peace.